In this lesson, we're going to take a look at the intro riff to Sweet Home Alabama by Leonard Skinner. Starting off, we've got three simplified chords. We've got a simplified D chord, simplified in that it's omitting this top note that usually makes the chord major. We're just getting rid of it because we're not going to need it in this song. The simplified C chord, you just lift your first finger while leaving your third finger on the third fret of the B string. Take your second finger and place it on the third fret of the A string. It's kind of modeled after a C add 9. And then for the last chord, you're going to take your second finger and move it up to the third fret of the E string. First thing you want to do is just play through these chords a little bit, get used to the movement. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. After you get comfortable with that, you can move on to the picking part. And if you noticed, the entire time I'm just pivoting off my third finger. I didn't have to pick that up when I was moving between those chords at all. So the picking part, you're going to play the low note of each chord. For the D chord, it's the open D string. And then you're going to pick up on the B string, G string. So you've got, when you go to the C chord, your low note is that C note that's on the third fret of the A string. And still the same B string, G string. And then once you get to the G chord, same low note, or the new low note, the third fret on the E string. And then you're just gonna kind of strum up. So you've got, one more time. Now, in between repeating that, you've got the endings. There's three of them. The same one is used for the first time and the third time, and then you've got a new one for the second time and the fourth time. That's something you're going to find typical when you start learning a lot of riffs and a lot of songs. Is in order to keep things from becoming repetitive, a lot of times what the guitar player or whoever does is, if the song repeats, if say you've got a riff that repeats twice, it's going to have a different ending the second time so that it doesn't get repetitive when you play that riff over and over. If you're playing it 4 times, it's going to typically have the same ending the first time and the third time, just like this song, with different ones for the second and fourth. Again, so you don't create this kind of repetitive riff that bores the listener. So the first of the endings is the hardest. No, it's the first and the third. So you're going to start out with an open A note. You're going to hammer on to the second fret of the A string with your second finger. Then you're going to pick the open D string, and you're going to hammer that on the second fret with your second finger also. But then you're going to pull it off, and then you're going to move back to the A string and pick that second fret. So you've got, now at the end of that riff, or that little ending, you're going to take your third finger and you're going to put it down on the G string on the second fret and then pull to open. So you've got, the second ending, which is way easier than that one we just did. You're going to hit an open G string. You're going to pull off from the second fret with your first finger to the open note. You're going to pick the open note again in the middle of it, you're going to use your third finger to pull from the 4th fret to the open, and then you're going to bend the 5th fret, and that's it. So in between everything you're doing, you're just going to pick that open note. So it's... Do that a few times. 2, 3, 4. Okay. And then we've got this last ending, the easiest of them all. So we're going to take our second finger, we're going to slide from the 1st fret, and then the open D string, and then the open G. So that part's just... So let's play through it a couple times, so you can play along with it, and then start looking at how you can put it all together. 2, 3, 4. And one last time. Hopefully that helped you out, and I will see you next time.